Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited for today's video. It is going to be my November update for my rolling project 10 pan. I am batch filming today, so if I look the same with like the addition of like a sweater as I do in some of my other videos, I apologize, but I'm trying to get some filming done so I can actually get some videos up. I am very excited. I do have one, or do I have two? Two empties. I have two empties to share with you in today's video. I did share in my last Rolling Project 10 pan update that because we are getting close to the end of the year and my life has been a literal shit show this year and I've not made great progress on my project pans or just like makeup, I haven't been doing my makeup as much this year. I said in my last update that I'm not going to be replacing any items that are rolling out as we get closer to the end of the year. That is true for one of the products, but I do have one empty that I'm going to replace just to try and motivate myself to have another empty by the end of the year. We'll get into it. If you're interested in my progress in my Rolling Project 10 pan, stay tuned. First, if you have yet to subscribe to my channel and you like project panning content or just chit-chatting about makeup, I hope that you'll consider subscribing before moving on. I also do have a book channel now, so if you want to check that out, that will be linked in the description box down below. But other than that, let's jump into the video. Alrighty, you guys, let's start. So I like to go in order that I rolled these products in. Like I said, have not been doing my makeup as frequently as normal. Like this year, we're just like leaving this year behind when we get to 2023. And it's gonna be a much better year next year. Like I can actually feel it. I know I said that many times throughout 2022, but like 2022, I'm giving myself grace for like this year, whatever. 2023 will be different. So let's start with my Kosas powder. This powder I've been working on since the introduction, the 1st of January. So I have my Kosas Cloud Set powder in the shade Feathery. My cap broke off, which is just so convenient for me. This is what this looks like. I am super excited to look at the progress photos for this because I feel like I've made a significant amount of progress from this month to the last month. Like, let me see if you guys can see, like we are really thinning out. This used to be such a domed product. Plus I feel like I've uncovered more of like the ring around this product as well, which I'm super excited about. When I rolled this in, this weighed 75 grams in January. It weighed 69 grams last update in October. And now it weighs 67 grams today. So we saw 2 grams worth of progress, which I'm super excited about. I have about 2 months to finish this. About 2 months. Can I do it? I didn't think at the beginning of the year when I rolled this in, I didn't think I would have any problem finishing this powder this year, but I'm a little worried. It's gonna be a close one. Next up, this Vive lip liner has also been in since the introduction in January. This is in the shade Velvet Sands. It is a really beautiful, warmer nude shade. Neutral nude. It looks really warm on my skin tone. I was really I'm really hot or cold. I'm very inconsistent with my use on the Vive lip liner. So when I rolled this in January, this weighed, it says 4 grams in January and it still weighs 4 grams, but I literally don't see how that's possible. There was finally weight change from, I believe the last time I made a line marking was either the end or beginning of August, and we finally seen, not weight change, line marking like movement, which I'm super excited about. I did give myself a goal of finishing this pencil off. That is definitely not going to happen. Definitely not going to happen, but I do feel like I used a good chunk of this lip liner this year, definitely more than I would have had this not been in this project. And I feel like it also encouraged me to reach for some of my other lip liners, and historically I've not been great at getting use out of my lip liner collection at all. All right, next up is my first empty to share in this video. I'm so freaking excited about this because this was turning into like a hate. This pretty much started out as a hate pan for me. This is the Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Foundation. When I rolled this in, this has also been in since the introduction. This weighed 148 grams. It weighed 135 grams last update. And this is like basically the only foundation I've been using. And it weighs 130 grams today as an empty. It like sputters out. There's like, I can't get product out. It's a very heavy glass bottle. But if you guys are keeping up with my makeup rehab series, I said I needed to finish off 3 foundations before I could purchase any more foundation. If you missed my graveyard project pan update, spoiler, I finished a foundation. So this is my second foundation empty. I need to finish one more foundation before I can purchase another foundation. There was one I wanted to pick up during this Sephora VIP sale, but I told myself, oh no, girlfriend, like you need to follow your rules. You need to actually, like, don't just set rules to set them, like actually follow them. So I do need to finish off one more foundation before I can purchase another, but I am putting a foundation. I'm replacing this foundation with another foundation to encourage me to get use out of it and potentially finish it before the end of the year. I have quite a few foundations that are like on the brink of being an empty, like 2 or 3, I feel like, that could potentially still be empties by the end of the year. So that is the goal and that is what we are hoping for, but I'm very excited that this is finally an empty. I did not love the way that this looked on my skin at all. It was a pain to use it. It wasn't a great shade for me, and then I just personally did not like the way that it looked on the skin. So I'm very happy that that's an empty. I know some people love that foundation. I am personally not one of those people. All right, this next product has been in since May. That is when I rolled this in. It is the Patrick Ta lip gloss in the shade Is She Younger Than Me? And I have made good progress on this. So last update to this update wasn't as significant as some of my other updates. But this is definitely more of like a spring summer shade in that it's like super glittery, super sparkly, and more of like a pink. It's still really pretty, and I would love to finish this before the end of the year as well. So when I rolled this in May, this weighed 31 grams. It weighed 28 grams last update, and it does weigh 27 grams today. So we have seen some weight change in this. I have quite a few lip glosses as well that are just like on the brink. They have like about this much left. I would like to finish. I mean, I would be super happy if I could finish like 3 to 5 more lip glosses before the end of the year. Just as you may know, my lip gloss collection is like a little bit out of control. Lip products in general, so the more empties, the better, so that my makeup inventory numbers can like be lowered by a little bit, but it'll be close. It's possible I could finish this, but it would take some good effort. So we'll see about that. Next up is a product that has been in since June, and this is my other empty. It is my LYS Secure Skin Gripping Serum Primer. This is something I had included in my video of products that I wanted to pan this year. So I'm very happy that I finished and emptied out a product that I set out on a goal to finish this year. Now, originally I put that in this video, or in that video, because I didn't think I loved this primer. But I loved this primer this year. Like, this was the perfect summer primer. And for a brand that's in Sephora, LYS tends to be on the less expensive side. I believe you can get this primer for like $20 or $22. To me, it's worth every penny. I will say the e.l.f. like gripping primer is just as good, and it's still cheap, so like you could also just get the e.l.f. one, but I actually really ended up loving this primer, whereas I would recommend this and could potentially see myself repurchasing this in the future. Before putting this in this project, I would have said this was like a product that I wouldn't recommend and wouldn't repurchase. So I'm very happy to have that as an empty. This weighed 36 grams when I rolled this in June. It weighed 14 grams last update, and it weighs 12 grams today as an empty. So very excited to have 2 empties at least for this video. Next up, I have this liquid blush from Daniel Sandler. This has been in since the June update as well. My line markings are kind of wearing away, but I did add another line marking just kind of below. Are you gonna focus? I did add another line marking just below where we were last update, although I don't think I added a new line marking last update. So my packaging on this has broken, so it doesn't come out of the tip anymore. It comes out of the sides, which can be a little bit annoying, but I do love this shade. If I didn't say, this is the Daniel Sandler Watercolor Gel Cheek color in the shade Nectar, which is this really beautiful kind of neutral warmed tone peach shade, and it's just a very wearable shade. This is absolutely a product I would repurchase in the future. I have so many cream and liquid blushes like in my collection that I need to get through some. Like, I won't immediately go out and repurchase this, but would recommend this to anyone who has their eye on it, and do feel like I will repurchase this at some point in the future. So when I rolled this in June, this weighed 12 grams. It weighed 11 grams last update, and it does weigh 10 grams today. So we also have seen some weight change here, which is super exciting. This next product, I have made really great progress when you look at my line markings. This is the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil in the shade Tiger's Eye, which is a really beautiful metallic brown shade. This is a very wearable sort of everyday eyeliner for me. I almost always wear a brown eyeliner in my waterline, and this is just nice because it adds like a little bit of sparkle So when I rolled this in July. This weighed 6 grams. It weighed 4 grams last update, and it does weigh 3 grams today. So we have seen both weight change as well as line marking change. I wasn't sure if I would be able to finish this by the end of the year, and I don't obviously think that that is going to happen. Now, I do think I will finish this in 2023, but I'm just going to keep chugging away at this and see how much more progress we can make in the next 2 months. And then this might be something that I roll into the introduction of my 2023 project, because like I said, I do feel like I can finish this in 2023. Next up in July, I also rolled in the Charlotte Tilbury airbrush bronzer. I have this in the shade 2. This is one of my favorite bronzers in my collection, and I found myself not reaching for this, I feel like, because it's so expensive. So I rolled it into this project to kind of give me an excuse to reach into this bronzer. And I will say I was focused on my Ilia bronzer in my Graveyard project pan more than I was this. This has been in since the July update. It weighed 132 grams. It still weighs 132 grams today. I feel like if you look at the pictures, you're not gonna see much of a change, although I do feel like I have worn this. I feel like it's a thinner product, so I don't know if that's why I feel like it doesn't really look like I've used this at all, but I swear I have been. And I'm just gonna keep this in for the last 2 months of the year and see if I can get a better dip going. I don't think I'll hit pan in that by the end of the year, but perhaps that can be a goal for 2023 as well. Next up, I have this e.l.f. concealer, which I rolled in September. This weighed 31 grams when I rolled this in September, 30 grams last update, and 30 grams today. I didn't make a new line marking, so as you can tell, I didn't make a new line marking on this. As you can tell, there's a disturbance up here, and I'm pretty sure the product is like right about here. I don't feel like it's gone down. Like looking in, actually maybe it has gone down a little bit, but I did reach for this quite frequently, but I need the littlest amount of this to go a long way. So I don't think I'll finish this by any stretch of the imagination before the end of the year, but would like to see if I could maybe get like closer to halfway, and then this will likely be the concealer that I start 2023 off with in my Rolling Project 10 pan to try and empty this out at some point. Concealers take me forever to get through. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like in my head I have like no concealers in my collection, and then when I go to do my makeup inventory, I'm like, how do I have this much concealer? I'm literally never gonna get through this. The last product to update you on before I roll in a new foundation to replace my other foundation is this Dior highlighter. I rolled this in September as well. This weighed 62 grams when I rolled this in September. It still weighs 62 grams, and I really just gave myself a goal of trying to hit pan on this. As you can tell, this is kind of like where I put my brush. There's definitely a disturbance there, and I'll be curious to look at the progress photos. Like, I feel like I've reached for this highlighter so much. Pink highlighters are my absolute favorite, so it hasn't been a chore to reach for this, but I'm curious to see if it's gonna look like I've used this product, or if it looks like progress has been made. Maybe I can still hit pan on this by the end of the year. I'm not sure how like thick the pan size is. I'll be very curious. I think maybe it's like a waffle pan, but we'll see. My goal is still to hit pan on this, and I'm confident I could do that. So that's my update there. The foundation I will be rolling in to replace my Pat McGrath foundation is going to be the ColourPop Pretty Fresh foundation. This is a hyaluronic hydrating foundation, and I actually mixed this with my Tarte Maracuja foundation because I was really close to finishing the Tarte one. I always end up mixing these foundations together anyway, so I just kind of mix them into one container. And oh no, there was a ton of disturbance on the front, and I just kind of like shook this up. But this is where I have marked the product. So I have about 1/4 of this left. This weighs 52 grams right now, and my goal is going to be to finish this by the end of the year. I do have a couple other foundations that I'm also trying to finish, or that I'm working on in projects, but I'm just giving myself that goal. So this will we'll have one more update and then the finale, but I'm hoping by the finale this will be an empty, because I really do want to have at least one more foundation empty before the end of this year. But after that, that is going to wrap it up for today's update. It feels like this was a shorter update. I'm like, I've only been filming for 15 minutes. That seems odd, but I think that's it. Yeah, that is it for today's update. I would love to know if you've recently panned anything, or have a new pan in your collection, emptied anything out. Let a girl know in the comments below. Other than that, thank you so much for sticking around to watch today's video and for supporting my channel as you guys always do. I love you guys so much, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.